Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
Game one saw missed opportunities for the Cardinals early on. 2 runners on. Matt Adams a strikeout. Same result for Matt Carpenter in the 5th with 2 runners on. Andrew Cashner, 94 pitches. He's part of Archaea in the driver's seat as he picked up the win. 6 innings, 3 hits, and 4 strikeouts. Turn the page on game one. It's game 2 tonight, and the All-Star is in the lineup. Yadier Molina, the Cards and Padres, coming up on Fox Sports Midwest.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball from Petco Park in Southern California. Beautiful night here in San Diego as the Padres play host to the St. Louis Cardinals. And with Jim Hayes and the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. The Cardinals, a tough game one, not a lot of offense. Wainwright, a better start. But all in all, they're looking to bounce back here in game number 2.
Looking to bounce back in a big way. They got Michael Wacha going tonight. 2 really good starts his last 2 outings. Looking for a good one tonight. And you said the offense has been struggling a little bit. Look to get some offense started here. A little earlier start, a little warmer game. See what they can get going, hopefully with no shadows to worry about.
All right, the Cardinals will face a young man that's making his Major League debut, Cesar Vargas. Randall Grichuk in the lineup. Cards and Padres coming up.
tonight from Petco Park in San Diego, Game 2 of the 3-game series. A look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal with Michael Wacha. You're going to see that fastball mixing in the curve a little bit more this year, and of course the great changeup. On the other side, for Cesar Vargas, it's his major league debut. Loves that fastball, the curve, and the slide. For our first pitch of baseball tonight from Petco Park in San Diego, Game 2 of the 3-game series. A look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal with Michael Wacha. You're going to see that fastball mixing in the curve a little bit more this year, and of course the great changeup. On the other side, for Cesar Vargas, it's his major league debut. Loves that fastball, the curve, and the slider. The numbers from the minor leagues. Baseball, first pitch next. Bud Light, please drink responsibly. By Chevrolet, visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Expecting a bigger crowd this evening here at Petco Park with the earlier start. The Cardinals dropped game 1 of this series. San Diego is 7-10 this year. The Cardinals an even 500 at 8-8. There's a look at Mike Matheny. And along with Jim Hayes and Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. 69 degrees at the start of our contest here tonight. Cesar Vargas. He is 6'2", 220 pounds. signed in the offseason as a minor league free agent. And the first pitch is taken for a ball by Colton Wong. And Jimmy, this is something that Colton Wong was preaching to anybody that would listen in spring training. He wanted the opportunity to be a leadoff man. He'll get his chance tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty boisterous. If you say, be careful what you wish for, as they say. But no, that's good. I mean, he knows what he wants to do, and he's definitely capable of it.
The 2-0 pitch.
Being a leadoff hitter, you definitely have to be confident to be able to take pitches. It's a tough spot.
And it's interesting you say that. He's seeing about 4 pitches per at bat this season, and it's second only to Matt Carpenter, and both are in the top 30 in pitches seen per at bat so far this year. There's a strike. Tim Timmons calling the balls and strikes. Sean Barber is down at first. Jordan Baker at second. The crew chief Mike Everett is at third. 3-1 is hammered foul. This year the Padres were using this right-hander as a starter at Double-A. Their Double-A affiliate is located in San Antonio. 12 2/3 and only 2 runs allowed, so he gets the call up for Andy Green. And a strikeout of Colton Wong comes back to get him. The Cardinals lineup with Wong, now Stephen Piscotty, then Matt Holliday, Brandon Moss, Randall Grichuk, who homered here last night, Yadier Molina, Jed Jerko, Aledmus Diaz, and Michael Wacha. Your experience, Jimmy, and we talked about this last night with all the video and the reports and data available to the players. There's a guy right now you haven't seen. He's been pitching at Double-A. Where's the advantage? Is it the pitcher or the hitters?
You know, I really don't know. I mean, you come up through the minor leagues and this is how you deal with it, and you're successful. Usually they'll have something on someone somewhere that they'll find. Spring training game. It's amazing how they can come up with something. But if you really have nothing, you got to really rely on your first 3 hitters.
They come back to the dugout, give you that quick report.
That's basically what you can do. Just really has to. You know, the good thing is you come back and you see a couple fastballs, and what you really want to know is what the fastball is going to do. If it's going to tail, if it's straight, and if you can see it coming out of his hand. Unfortunately, right now it's a little bit of a shadow situation, so you're hoping that's not a bad issue, because it makes it even harder to get a good read on what's going on.
The pitcher right now is in the sunshine. The batters are in the shade. Piscotty, they shade him to right center field. Little tapper out in front of the mound. Vargas bare hands and throws a strike to Myers at first. So here's what you're talking about with Colton Wong.
I mean, you see he goes right back there and he's talking about what he saw. He's also could be talking about what the shadows are. Like, if I'm hitting third in this game right now, I don't care what he's throwing. I want to know if I can see, first of all. And then if I can see, then I'll ask about what kind of fastball he saw and what the breaking ball looked like, or just whatever he saw in those first couple pitches. But we got notes up here talking about what he throws, and you just have to go with what you see.
Say he has a natural cutter, and those that follow the Padres don't even remember him in spring training. He made a start down in Mexico. That's where he's from, and then was assigned to their Double-A club. 2 balls and no strikes on Holliday.
They said he has a natural cutter. That means everything he throws is going to cut, obviously, away from a righty, and it's a natural situation. So every fastball he throws is going to run in on a lefty and away from a righty. See if we can see a little bit. Maybe that looks like a little bit more effort. I'm saying if he has a natural cutter and his fastball is around 92 to 94, you're going to see some movement at 92 miles an hour. Drop down a little bit to 90, get a little bit more break, so he can kind of play with that variations of speed.
3-1. You look at the minor league numbers, doesn't walk many, pretty good control. Spent 7 years in the Yankees minor league system. 469 minor league innings as a starter and a reliever, primarily though as a reliever. Even picked up some saves, was a closer in the minor leagues, and they stretched him out this spring. So far so good. He struck out Wong. Piscotty, the ground ball back to him, and now a 3-2 pitch to Holiday, and he walked him. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers brings us around the horn. Melvin Upton Jr. in left, John Jay in center, Matt Kemp is in right. Brett Wallace, the former Cardinal, he's at third base. Alexi Ramirez at short. Jamal Weeks at second. Will Myers, big night in game one. He's at first, and Derek Norris, he's struggling at the plate, but gets another start as the catcher for the Padres. Strike to Moss. The tattoo on the arm, giving up was never an option. You credit anybody that makes it to this level. A lot of bus rides, long nights in the minor leagues. Brandon Moss hasn't started since Monday and over his last 11.
It's interesting. You see the players react. It's almost like your body's telling you it's a fastball, but your eyes are telling you it's a little bit of a slider. So you got to really be careful.
Moss with a high fly ball in a deep left center field. Jay is back at the wall and makes the catch. That's two in this series that Moss has hit on the track and right at the wall. Michael Wacha gets the call tonight for St. Louis when we come back. The San Diego Padres came over in an offseason deal. Jed Jerko to St. Louis. He's been at the top of their lineup, followed by Will Myers, then Matt Kemp, Melvin Upton Jr., Brett Wallace, Derek Norris, Ramirez, Weeks, and Vargas. Michael Wacha will get the call for the Cardinals' fourth start tonight. He's gone 6 innings in his last 2 starts against Milwaukee and Cincinnati. And those were 2 very good starts, just 1 run allowed in each of those. Mike Matheny was telling both of us about the downward plane of Michael Wacha and the difference that has made for him. Just a slight adjustment he's made mechanically.
Well, that's what got him here. Those are one of the things that we saw his very first day throwing in spring training, is that downward plane. You know, when you see that as a player, that's going to make it very difficult on the hitters. And if he loses that, you're losing your advantage.
So what you're talking about is down in the zone, and it really helps the changeup and also the curveball.
Well, he gets his arm slots so high that when it comes out of his hand, the ball has to go down to get to where the catcher is. Obviously, most pitchers in that case is just normal, but he is so much taller than everybody else that downward plane is a little exaggerated.
There's a grounder that's hit to Aledmys Diaz. Gets Jay by a step. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Holiday is in left, Grichuk in center, Piscotty is in right. Jed Jerko has had 14 career games at third, make it 15 with the start tonight. Diaz at short, Wong at second, Moss at first, and Molina is behind the plate. It's a good-looking young hitter. Will Myers, 3 for 3, double, home run, 3 RBIs in game 1. Showing bunt, and a curveball is in there for a strike. Can make the case that Michael Wacha, when he burst onto the scene back in 2013, was basically a 2-pitch pitcher. Changeup, fastball, but that curveball has become a plus pitch for him.
Well, he's been working hard on it and been using it a lot, and he's getting comfortable with it. And that's, I mean, that's the key. You got just keep getting better. There's always something. You see guys been around for a long time will start working on a cutter after 10 years in the big leagues, just because you play with someone who is a successful cutter and you just start asking questions and you learn and you work on stuff. And that's what's really good about this organization. The players in this organization, they help each other a lot and they learn from each other. You can never stop learning in this game, especially if it helps you on the mound, especially on the mound.
Were you a guy that ever tried to go without the batting gloves?
No.
You don't see it very often. You got Carpenter, Myers. I was trying to think if there's anybody else that in Major League Baseball goes without the batting gloves. It is rare. But he's got enough tape.
Yeah.
Might as well be batting gloves.
At least he's got tape.
Those cold nights, no thanks. You know, John Mabry was another one, the Cardinals hitting coach.
Those cold nights, you said?
Oh.
I remember guys wrapping tape around the bat to give just some extra cushion, just because batting gloves weren't enough.
No.
Guys would wear thicker batting gloves. It's amazing the lengths you go to keep your hands warm when you're trying to hit.
There's a base hit and an 8-game hitting streak for Will Myers. Now 14 for his last 32. Let's turn to Jimmy's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, I think right here the St. Louis Cardinals are basically facing somebody they have no idea what to expect. Never seen him. Probably not a lot of information out there like we talked before. Just going up there against the unknown. And then Michael Wacha, obviously, just continue what he's been doing. Last 2 starts have been good. And just kind of build on being comfortable out there. Good start. And just going out here in pitcher's ballpark and doing what he can do best.
Now it's Matt Kemp. Number of very good years with the Dodgers, then the trade to San Diego. Got off to a very hot start, but since then 6 for his last 41. That's just a 146 average. Leads your club in home runs with 5 and RBIs with 13. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Into right center field. Piscotty over. Won't get it. And the Cardinals catch a break. It's a ground rule double. So Myers has to stop at third. He would have scored easily.
Unfortunate break right there for the Padres, but very fortunate for the Cardinals. I see that happen a lot. It's weird. That's such a weird play when a guy's on first and hits the ball that hard and doesn't get a chance to score, knowing he's going to score. You can see the pitch right here, up and out over the plate. Too much of the plate again right there. It's like clockwork. Every time we talk about someone hitting the ball hard, where's the pitch? Up and right out over the plate.
We saw that a time or two last night with Adam Wainwright. It was a step, though, in the right direction. Here's Melvin Upton Jr. You know, Michael Wacha can get out of this inning. Upton strikes out a ton. At one point, full season with Atlanta just 2 years ago, hit only 184. And the 0-1. Good pitch in on his hands. It's been a struggle on the road, even dating back to last year for Michael Wacha. Last 4 road starts, this includes the postseason, an ERA of almost 10 and 0-3. Very good, though, at home. No balls, 2 strikes. Trying to get him chased with a pitch outside, and it's taken for a ball, 1-2.
Ball looks like it's really jumping out of his hand. I think he just turned it up a notch too.
Just noticed that.
It's amazing a couple hits can do for you, for your adrenaline and your velocity just starts creeping up and you get a little angry. He's letting it go right now.
Look at this arm here from Piscotty. It's a good one. Makes the catch in right. Fires to the plate. It is offline, and a run will score. That's Myers. Not one of the better throws we've seen from Piscotty, who's off to a very good start defensively, and it's 1-0 San Diego.
Yeah, you can see him tagging up right here, making sure he knows he's got some. He knows he's got the right fielder in deep right field. Doesn't matter how good of an arm you have, you still got time to get to the plate. Like you said, not one of Steven's best throws, but I think when you're an outfielder, you know you're out there a long way. And the problem with an outfielder is when you know you're too far out there, you try to do too much, and you just can't throw the ball on line.
Slow start for Brett Wallace. 1 for 14 with an RBI. Defensive run save. You would have been a sabermetric darling. They would have loved you. But Piscotty right now is second in Major League Baseball with 6.
We were talking about normally he has a great arm. Right here, I just think sometimes when you try to step it up a notch, you just try to do too much and the ball comes out of your hand a little, you know, just a little different. It's like trying to step on your drive, if you know what I mean. You end up slicing it in the woods. Oh, that's me. Sorry. That's not you.
It's both of us. Brett Wallace. Remember Clayton Mortensen, Shane Peterson, Brett Wallace traded by St. Louis for Matt Holliday. And Brett was a 13th overall pick back in 2008. Had a tremendous college career at Arizona State. Out to center field. Grichuk is there, makes the catch. The RBI by Melvin Upton Jr. 1 inning in the books. 1-0 San Diego. The MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment. Game Day Live, video highlights, StatCast news, and more. #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Here's Randal Grichuk. His home run was measured at 434 feet last night, the longest at Petco this year. He's batting .191 with 3 home runs, and he's driven in 7. You see Grichuk, Molina, and Jerko. First pitch off the end of the bat, lifted into center field. There's John Jay.
Right there is just the unknown we talked about. Get a fastball you think is going to be right there and just tails off the end of the bat. Good swing, but ball just, cutters just find a way to get away from the barrel. That's why Mariano Rivera was so successful for so long, because you just never know where it's going to end up.
I always find it interesting when a guy is making his debut. Will he be aggressive? Does he nibble? You know, will major league hitters chase this cutter out of the zone? Just the things that you look at when you make that next jump, which he has obviously done.
Yeah, he's getting the ball and throwing it. You got to like that. A young player come up, major league debut. He gets the ball back from the catcher and he's firing.
Molina in his last 10 games, a .441 average, 6 RBIs. The only Cardinals catcher to appear in 6+ postseasons. It's been 9 since 2004. May have chased that pitch going out of the zone. Evens it up at 2-2. First inning for Vargas, he struck out 1, walked 1. Moss sent one to the track in left center that stayed in the ballpark. And now the count runs full on Yadier Molina. Ground ball. Vargas makes the play as he underhands to Will Myers. We head around the major leagues. Tanner Roark, 15 strikeouts in 7 innings. And a win today for the Washington Nationals. 2 home runs for Troy Tulowitzki, a 9-3 win over Oakland. And Jose Fernandez starts tonight at San Francisco, and he has been dominant. There are certain guys that you don't want to miss when they're playing or pitching, and Jose Fernandez is one of those.
Yeah, he's electric. He's very often, not very often do you get, being in another city, when you see a name for a team you don't get to see very often, that you want to watch. And he's one of those guys.
He's without question one of those guys.
Like, I think I would stop if he was on TV. You know, you're in a restaurant or something with a lot of sports channels. I would stop and watch him pitch.
I would too. I would not stop to face him though.
That makes 2 of us.
And you mentioned Rivera. That's a guy that you face too. And I mean, there's certain guys that you watch and you say, this has got to be deflating to face this guy. Here he comes. Rivera, Trevor Hoffman for a while, Dennis Eckersley, as Jerko picks up a base hit out to left field. First Cardinal hit.
Yeah, you see right here get another cutter, like you said, the natural cutter. This ball's just up in the zone and doesn't move as much. Be curious to watch this closely and see if he has anything that runs into a righty, a 2-seamer or just even a straight fastball, and then see how the hitters adjust from here on out.
Here's a Ledmus Diaz pinch hit single in the 7th last night. Wound up being a costly mistake though. Aggressive trying to score as the ball got away from the infielders on a base hit. Back into the infield it came, and then Diaz tried to score. Was eventually thrown out at the plate. Runner at first is Jed Jerko. So they talk about the natural movement that Vargas has, but also he'll mix in a curveball, and they say that that is a plus pitch for him.
Yeah, he saw the one he threw to Yachty was just extreme bite. Even though it was down in the dirt, you could see the break on it.
1-1 is lined into right center field for a base hit. Jerko on his way to third, and the Cardinals at least get Walker through the lineup near the top of the 2nd. Again, it's another pitch up. Here's a look at our Chevy Fox Tracks.
What the Cardinals are going to have to do today is they're literally going to have to look for the ball out over the plate, but you got to be conscious and hit the ball the other way. Stay up the middle. Can't try and just because you know cutter's coming doesn't mean you can go out there and get it and yank it into the seats. You got to stay on it, and you got to keep trying to push it to right field, right center, and try to drive the ball in the gap. Hopefully you make a mistake, somebody can get the ball in the air to left center field, but just take your hits when you can get them.
Here's Walker. First pitch, a strike. He is 0 for 6 with a sacrifice this year. So back-to-back singles with 2 outs for the Cardinals.
You can see the information hasn't been passed down all the way to the pitcher yet. It's one of those things too. You can tell someone all you want, but until they see it, they're not going to believe it all the time. And it looked like he was kind of looking for a fastball inside.
0-2 pitch. Colton Wong is on deck. Right fielder Matt Kemp, very shallow. 2-2. Cardinals with only 6 hits last night. And it makes sense. When the Cardinals have lost games early in this season, they have not hit. And when they win, they hit a ton, averaging close to 8 runs a game in those wins. The 2-2 pitch. I used to marvel when Albert Pujols would be on deck how close he would get to the batter's box. Not quite where Albert would be, but Wong is fairly close to the batter's box on deck.
You know who was doing that last night, I noticed? Will Myers. When Johnny J was hitting, he was literally, I mean, he could have been a couple feet off the dirt.
Strikeout for Vargas, his second of the night. 1-0 San Diego. Then 1-0 San Diego as we check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, Matt Carpenter didn't have a Matt Carpenter type of night last night. Mike Matheny was saying before the game. By the way, that's Matt Carpenter actually throwing seeds with Carlos Martinez. Are we done yet, fellas? Oh, Jaime, thank you very much.
We got a good view from here.
Mike Matheny said he saw some things from Carpenter last night, thought today would be a good day to get him some rest. Matt was with us live on the pregame show. He told me when he was a younger guy, he would have argued with Mike. He would have pushed and pushed to get back in the lineup. Now he says he tries to make the most of it. He says it's not so much about physical rest, but he says the mental side of playing, even just preparing for a game, takes its toll. As for the physical side, he said he learned a lot from last year. Dan, better to take a day here and there and hopefully stay as fresh as you can for as long as you can.
Yeah, remember last year as that pitch is hit high in the air into right, and Stephen Piscotty is there. At one point, Matt Carpenter sat out 3 games in a very important early season showdown with the Pirates. They just wanted to make sure he was right, so didn't fight it. Not in the lineup, as Jim said. He struggled last night. He was 0 for 4. Came up at a key spot in the 5th with 2 runners on and struck out. And also a little shaky defensively, so probably the right time.
Yeah, and I hope they don't run out of seeds. That's worth watching. Seeds thrown at him all night.
Poor Jim. He's down there just getting pelted.
It's good for him.
Here's Alexi Ramirez. And a strike.
Is it me, or have you seen more guys square to bunt in the last 2 nights?
Yes.
Than in a normal 2-game series, and we're in the bottom of the 2nd already.
I think some of it is due to the fact that when guys see a shift, and Ramirez does not see that here, it's just putting the element in there just to see if guys would make that move. Again, Ramirez showing potential bunt. And maybe you get a player to take a step or 2 to be back to the original spot. That's something to do with it.
If I'm hitting, I'm not spotting Michael Walker 2 strikes.
No. With what we talked about with Michael Walker too, his fastball, he's throwing mid-90s tonight. You saw that, throwing a little bit harder. And then the curveball has become a good pitch for him. There's the fastball, and Ramirez turns on it. And a high fly ball out to deep left field. Just enough room as Holiday makes the catch. That's gone in a lot of ballparks.
Well, maybe he knew something we didn't. He was faking the bunt, and he was going for the homer. But the first thing I looked up and saw the wind blowing, the flags blowing dead in from left field. There is some buildings in the way, but already it's cooling off. The sun's gone down. Almost gone down behind the stadium, and it's definitely going to be heavy air again.
Jemile Weeks, and Weeks a high fly ball. Deep right field. Piscotty back with room. He's got it up against the wall. That's 5 fly ball outs for Michael Wacha in 2 innings. First it was Holiday off the bat of Ramirez. Moments ago, Piscotty. 1-0 after 2. Major League Baseball most seasons since the last postseason appearance, and for the Mariners it's been a long time, 14 years. Then you have the Marlins. They won in 03. The Padres knocked out by the Cardinals in 06 in a series that was defined in many ways by one play. Ronnie Belliard, a tremendous play in shallow right, sliding to make a terrific play on a ground ball that was hard to hit. And my partner tonight, Jim Edmonds, started awarding game balls, and that kind of became the theme of the rest of that postseason.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you see that, how long it's been for them in the postseason, but when I was in Cardinal Red, it seemed like we had to go through there or LA every year to get into the NLCS. And then all of a sudden you see that stat. It's been 9 years. That goes by pretty quick.
That season, you guys got hot clearly at the right time, 82 wins in the regular season, but you also got healthy. That was a really good team that just was not healthy for the better part of the season. As a matter of fact, your start was one of the best in franchise history.
Yeah, that's why they always say you can be good on paper, but you got to go out and prove yourself. And it doesn't matter how many guys you have in there that on paper are going to be monsters. It's all about what happens during the course of the year and how you play. I mean, you got to play the whole entire season to get into the playoffs, and then you never know what's going to happen.
David Eckstein got healthy. You got healthy. You were dealing with a concussion. That's why the Cardinals went out and got Preston Wilson, who was really good down the stretch. He had a terrific month of August with 8 home runs in 06. He was left for dead, and the Cardinals picked him up. 3-2 pitch to Colton Wong. And a ground ball that's hit to second baseman Jemile Weeks. One away. 6 is a serious number and on the run. When the Cardinals score 6, any size drink, just 50 cents the next day. That's coffee, fountain, or frozen drinks. When they score, you pour. At your nearest on the run, you earned it. And part of that team was Albert Pujols, who was putting up ridiculous numbers in 06. After 11, he signs with the Angels. The Cardinals have 2 compensatory picks thanks to that loss. And both are in the lineup tonight for the Cardinals. Michael Wacha and this man, Stephen Piscotty. Don Orsillo is radio and TV voice of the Padres, and he interviewed me the other day, and he said, what is it about the Cardinals? Why are they always in postseason play, or at least have a chance to get there? As Piscotty singles into center field. You'd have to say drafts and then player development, which is something that you were a part of in spring training, trying to help the younger guys learn and find out what it takes to get to this level.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's getting to the point now where everybody just knows that they're expected. You know, it's like you don't even have to teach it anymore. It's the guys are coming up and they know what to expect. They hear about it every day. They read about it. You just get up there and you just work on getting better. You go right to the veterans and find out what needs to be done.
And here is Holiday. And when the Cardinals have decided to go outside of their organization, the trades that they have made or the long-term investments that they have made have paid off, and here's one of them in Holiday. Runner goes, pitch taken inside, throw to second, and out. Piscotty caught stealing as Norris guns him down.
Derek Norris threw that ball from his knees, didn't he?
He sure did.
Thought Steven got a good jump here. He's running hard, looking back. Derek Norris did a great job of getting rid of the ball and getting it right on the money.
Broken bat and a ground ball that's hit to Ramirez. And he puts it away. So far, so good for Cesar Vargas, making his major league debut. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. And get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. It's 1-0. Pitcher Cesar Vargas leads it off, followed by John Jay and Will Myers. What a throw that was by Derek Norris in retrospect from his knees. Two and 0.
You know what I like about that throw is you see guys trying to throw from their knees sometimes, but watch the momentum he gets going towards second. So much it almost looks like he's purposely falling forward, just like you would if you were stepping forward, and he got a lot on the throw. Sitting up here, a little birdie snuck over our shoulder and said that he had been working on that in spring training.
Reminds me of Benito Santiago. He was one of the guys that would do that. Tony Payne would do that occasionally as Piscotty makes the catch. We see it all the time with
there's our birdie.
That's Mark Sweeney.
It's always nice when you have the opposing TV personalities stop up here and tell you what's going on with the other team, and that's actually pretty interesting too, to say he actually worked on throwing from his knees in spring training.
Jimmy, we need all the help we can get.
And you said something about Benito Santiago. He had such a strong arm that he threw from his knees just to make it fair. I mean, it was ridiculous that he just slung it from his knees. But I think what Derek Norris did right there and been working on it, get some momentum towards second base. That's pretty interesting to little tidbit of information.
You know, Mark Sweeney wound up being one of the top pinch hitters statistically in the history of baseball. Such a tough job, and he was so good at it. Here's John Jay, grounded out to short. The Padres were asked why John Jay, why did they want him? They said the same reason we wanted Mark McGwire. We wanted guys that had been in St. Louis, that experienced winning baseball, and trying to model themselves after the Cardinals. And John Jay had some good years with the Cardinals. 3 times in 6 seasons hit above 300. Played very solid defense. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, here's the guy you were talking about from last night, Will Myers, at the on-deck circle and close to home plate.
I thought he was even closer last night, but this is unusually close for an on-deck hitter.
Jay with a base hit. Takes the wide turn around first base. He'll stop there. 1-out hit. Snaps a string of 6 straight set down by Michael Wacha. Missouri Lottery Fox tracks, and you can see that Jay had to go down and get it. 1-out base hit brings in Myers. Cardinals turned 2 double plays last night. Fly ball right center, going back. Ritchik makes the catch. Jay back to the bag at first. While Major League Baseball's global reach seems to be greater than ever, for now Cuba remains one country that's outside its reach. Watch our special documentary, Cuba, Baseball's Final Frontier. It'll be Monday at 7:30, right before our first pitch between the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. Ledmus Diaz, Brian Pena from Cuba, great stories to get here to the United States, and now they play in the major leagues. Where'd you play winter ball?
I went to Venezuela for a couple months. Very unique experience.
I can imagine. Matt Kemp, the ground rule double. 1 for 1. He did something last year that had never been done in Padres history. Hit for the cycle. We had never had a player hit for the cycle. And they still do not own a no-hitter in franchise history. Mets hadn't thrown one for the longest time until Johan Santana did that against the Cardinals. Little bit low.
It's a good pitch right there. It's exactly where you want to be. That's exactly where you're taught to throw the ball.
Not much you can do with that pitch as a hitter. There's the curveball, tapped foul. It was a solid year for Kemp. He had 100 RBIs in his first year with San Diego. Was a offensive force in the middle of their lineup, but he did commit 21 errors in right field. 21. He already has 2 this year.
Playing center field for so many years, going over into that corner might be tough. I know when I was making that transition at the end of my career, I wasn't too excited about it. It's a little bit tougher over there in the corners.
Really, you found the corners harder than center with all the ground you got to cover there?
I just felt that for me, after so many years of just knowing what was coming and what pitch was coming, and you can have so much easier with the vision. Your view is so everything's right in front of you, and you go over into the corner, and now you got your body being blocked, or the plate being blocked by the hitter's body. And
Wong ranging to his left. Oh, what a play by Colton Wong as he robs Matt Kemp. Terrific play by Wong. He had a great play last night on a ball that was hit up the middle and was able to grab a line drive to his right. This one ranging far to his left and takes a hit away, spinning to get Matt Kemp. Outstanding from Colton Wong. San Diego with 11, but that's primarily been on the routine plays. You know, Diaz has 4 and they're throwing errors. Wong has had 3 with simple plays and balls hit to him, but when he has to range either direction, he makes those plays. 0-2 on Brandon Moss.
I mean, look where he's standing right here, and he's about to cover second base and just goes way to his left. I love it because the center of gravity to me for him, his legs are so strong. He just can spin, turn, and find himself and throw the ball in the money.
They will say that's a strikeout. Moss is claiming that it should be a foul ball. That'll be the 17th time he has struck out this year to lead the club. Let's take a look. Now Grichuk, who fly to center. See how it goes second time through this lineup facing Vargas, who's had only 3 games above AA prior to tonight. Darren Balsley, the pitching coach of the Padres, he calls it a 4-seam cutter, and as Jim described earlier, in on the lefties, away from the righties, just the natural movement. He is replacing left-handed pitcher Robbie Erlin, who was placed on the DL Thursday with an elbow strain. Alexi Amarista is the corresponding move to activate Vargas, and Amarista is out with a right hamstring injury. Innings 4 through 6 have been an issue for the Cardinals. Look at the run differential, -14. You love what you see 7th inning later, +18. A lot of that due to the fact that their pinch hitters have been very, very good this year. The 2-2 popped up. Norris gives it a look, and it's out of play.
Do they always go that high?
Yeah, they do sometimes. You were known to do that too, by the way. You would uppercut, finish on your back leg, hop around.
The ball goes up there. I'm waiting to see if you're going to react and try to reach out and catch one of these days.
I'm telling you, one is going to get in the booth. You better be ready.
I am going to duck.
I do not want to hear that from a guy that won 8 Gold Gloves. I need to hear, Dan, I'm here to protect you.
Do you know what the first thing I think about when you say if one comes up in the booth? I turned around to see who was behind us that was going to get hit.
We're ducking.
I might have to protect some of the people that are up here right now, if you know what I mean.
I should mention to you a couple years ago in Milwaukee, you'll find out you'll get a lot of foul balls in the booth. I saved Al's life. I just want that to be on the record. I still have Bud Selig's signature on my hand. May have broken a few bones, but
was he running from it?
I said he was. Ramirez showing off the arm. You really liked that last night.
I do. It's fun to watch. Yeah, he goes down to that knee too, and he stands up, and it's just effortless. He just gets up and lets it go.
Number of years with the White Sox and signs a 1-year deal here with San Diego. He's played in at least 148 games every year. Very, very reliable. Molina swings through the breaking ball, and that's strike 1.
I think it's pretty neat when you're watching a guy with a good arm throw the ball across the diamond, and you don't see the ball die off when it gets to first. You just see it carry straight to the first baseman's glove, and you watch that from a distance, you know he's got a good arm.
I've said this before. I used to love going to the ballpark to watch Ozzie Smith take ground balls in batting practice, and then the other guy I used to love watch throw was Mark Whitten. He had an absolute cannon from the outfield. Here's a 1-1. Part of his routine, Yadier Molina, before games is taking ground balls at short, sometimes second base, just to get loose. Occasionally he'll let one fly, and you see that arm.
Got to break up your routine every now and then. You can't just stand behind the plate. And sometimes when you play this game long enough, it's hard to get loose in certain days. Your body just does not want to get loose. It doesn't matter if it's April, May, June, September, whatever it is. You got to get out there and try something new. And A lot of guys find that taking ground balls is one way that they're going to force themselves to get loose. You're going to have to bend over. You're going to have to move to catch the ball. You're going to have to pay attention to what's going on. You're going to get hit in the mouth. And so you find a lot of guys, outfielders, they just go into the infield and take some ground balls with the shortstop at the second baseman.
Makes a lot of sense. There were some pitchers that would do that between starts too. Here's Jed Jerko, single to left, back in the second inning. Cardinals have scored just 7 runs in the last 4 games. 3 of the 4 have been losses. And yet the Cardinals are second in Major League Baseball. They have 92 runs scored. 41 have come via the home run, which is 45%. It's an awful lot. Only 6 hits last night. Jerko was coming off the bench. Mike Matheny telling us before the game he really liked the at-bats of 2 from last night. Colton Wong was at the leadoff spot and Jed Jerko. Here's a ground ball that is hit to short. Ramirez to second. Yachty will go back in the dugout, put on the equipment, but before our first pitch, pregame here tonight, here's what we're talking about. Infielder's glove and getting loose. He was a third baseman growing up. 1-0 midway through 4. Let's check in with Jim Hayes, who has a story about Seung-Hwan Oh. Jimmy.
Yeah, he got a nice little surprise yesterday, a hand-lettered commemorative baseball from his Major League debut on April 3rd. It was put together by team trainer Chris Conroy, who does all the lettering on the Cardinals' keepsake baseballs, and Eugene Koo, O's translator. Koo told me Conroy had to learn the Korean characters, so it took a couple of weeks and a lot of work. And O told me, totally by surprise, that he got that. Wasn't expecting it. He plans to display that ball with the Cards lineup from that day Mike Matheny gave him in his home in Seoul.
What a play there again by Wong and Michael Wacha to make sure he was covering the bag as Moss was ranging to his right. You don't see a first baseman range that far. He was well off the line, but a great lead here by Colton Wong. What a play.
You could see Moss was almost past the second base position. And Colton started off on the shortstop side of second base bag, ran all the way over there and made that play. Great job by Michael Wacha also getting over there in time.
So Colton Wong standing out defensively here in game 2. Here's Brett Wallace. Wallace fly to center. The shift is on here for Brett. He is bounced around. Toronto, Oakland, Colorado, St. Louis. Curveball taken high. He twice was the Pac-10 Player of the Year, and twice he won the Triple Crown in the Pac-10. Good changeup. I remember the Cardinals drafted him. They brought him into the booth. And I couldn't believe the size of his lower half in terms of his thighs and his legs. And his natural position is third base. The Cardinals looked at him there. Wasn't a great spot for him. And for Brett, it's been tough to find a regular position at this level. Up and in. 2 Cardinals were hit last night. Now Wallace is hit with 1 out here in the 4th.
When I first saw him, he was at first base, and I thought, yeah, with that lower body, he's a big kid. Natural position. I can't believe that, learning what I learned about him after asking some questions, that his position was actually third. But you know what? If you can play, you can play.
He can hit. He did it the minor leagues at different times, and then certainly in college. So here is Derek Norris, who flied to right. Average is well below 200. Walker's allowed just 3 base hits. RBI by Melvin Upton Jr. the difference thus far. Padres have been dealing with injuries here early on. 5 already on the disabled list. And they had Skip Schumacher in camp. Skip eventually decided to retire. Out in second, and there's your double play. 1, 4, 3. Nice turn by Wong. He's had a standout game defensively. We head to the 5th. Padres on top. Speaking of Skip Schumacher, some of the guys from that 2011 team that won the championship. Alan Craig is in the minor leagues. David Freese now with Pittsburgh. John Jay here with San Diego. Daniel Descalso is on the DL, but with Colorado. And Skip decided to retire. One of our favorites, undoubtedly. He had a great story, and this is Aledmys Diaz. And apparently in his first camp, there was a player that showed up to spring training that was supposed to be situated between Jim Edmonds and Reggie Sanders. He was 10 minutes late. And I guess those veterans were a little unhappy that he showed up late and said,
I
Skip,
remember this.
Here you go. You sit with us. You do remember it.
Yeah, and I cannot remember why. And Skip had a, number 55. He had a bigger number. He was a little bit further down, and I don't remember who it was. Someone showed up late. And in Reggie Sanders fashion, he said, "You know what? Get out of here. We don't want you here." And he called Rip over and said, "Switch these guys' lockers around."
And that was it.
That was it. Done.
And you guys saw something clearly with Skip.
Skip was the greatest. He was a great teammate. Worked hard. Got everything out of everything he had. And congratulations to him on a great career. And I always say congratulations on retiring, because it's a lot of work playing this game at this level. And it's not just April through October. It is
October.
Yeah, it's all year long.
You said something in spring that stuck out to me. I thought I was the only guy that felt this way. I always felt that Skip was a very, very good outfielder and had a plus arm clearly. And the Cardinals approached Skip about going to second base, and they said, "Look, this will be beneficial for you in the long term because you'll be able to play all over the diamond." But you were with me. You thought he was a great outfielder.
You know what? With all due respect, and I don't know who made that decision, but I didn't like it at the time. I thought he should have been our fourth outfielder clearly at that point in his career. And I figured at how hard he worked and everything that he had done, he had earned it. But there was another spot open, and second base was there. And I just kept telling him, just keep working. If you get a chance to stay here in the big leagues and you get to play, I guess it doesn't really matter what position you get to play. And so he did it. He kept his mouth quiet and just did his job. And I mean, like I said, what a great teammate and what a pleasure to have on your team.
Everywhere he went, the veterans would talk about what a presence he was with young players, where that's not measured with sabermetrics or home runs or RBIs, but yet the course of 6 months, you hope 7, 8, very, very important.
Yeah, he's a no-nonsense guy, and he stuck up for his teammates too. And it was, like I said, those guys don't come around that often, and when they do, you notice it. And for him, he got noticed and had a nice career.
A couple of rings with the Cardinals, 06 and 11. 1 ball, 1 strike on Michael Walker. Cardinals trailing by a run here in game 2. Showing bunt, and it's over his head.
Sorry.
I think that gets your attention.
Got mine.
Wow.
I think my reaction is a little bit faster than most people still, and saw it right away.
Now Wall is coming over to talk to Vargas.
That got some guys' attentions in the dugout too. That would have got my attention if I was sitting on the bench right now.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be quiet.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Walker, it's fair. This should be 2. Nice play by Ramirez with the pick.
He called it a foul ball. No?
Or did he call it interference? He may have called interference on Walker, so automatically you get the continuation of the play and the double play. That's what it was.
That's 2 great plays by 2 catchers and 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, out immediately. So it's a double play. Boy, the margin for error at this level is so small. That's just a little thing that you have to be able to do.
I think that catching position has changed a little bit over the years. Remember, the catchers used to be slow and couldn't move, and now these guys are athletic and in shape, and you don't see that play happen very often, let alone 2 times in 2 nights.
Here's Wong in the leadoff spot, still looking for his first extra base hit of the year. He is struck out and also grounded out to second. Jamal Weeks makes the play. Wong is retired. We are midway through 5. San Diego on top by a run. Rocket arms, and these are the hardest throwers so far in baseball. Noah Syndergaard, look at that, averaging on his fastball 98.4. Nathan Eovaldi with the Yankees, the former Marlin, is at 97. Hard throwers. They are all over the place right now in the game today. Noah Syndergaard, and you talk about that rotation, Matz, Harvey, Syndergaard, DeGrom. Man, they've got some arms.
98 average.
Here's Alexei Ramirez, and a fastball at 93 is taken high for a ball.
Just 93 though, just 93.
No big deal.
What if you feel good that day? You're 101, 102, you're averaging 98. That's something you don't like as a hitter. I mean, that's a day that you think about the day ahead of time.
So when you would face a guy that's throwing 92 to 94, you say, well, he's a hard thrower. But even at this level, when a guy's throwing 96 to 100, it's a different level.
You have to change your approach. You really do. I choked up a little bit. I kind of narrowed my feet a little bit. I didn't stride. I mean, I didn't try to do anything but hit the ball. Like, put it in play, let the barrel hit the ball, and hopefully something good happens. That reminds me like a guy like Brad Penny when he first came up. He threw so hard, and literally I just stood there and tried to react.
Randy Johnson would be another one.
I was trying to come in, call in sick those days.
I don't blame you. Brad Penny was at one point with the Cardinals, but started out with the Marlins.
He threw hard.
He and A.J. Burnett were together. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ramirez, who flied to the track and left, and a foul ball.
The thing with those guys is you have to be just so under control, because you really can only hit one pitch when the guy's throwing 98. You really just have to hit a fastball, and you can't really gear up enough for the fastball because you have no chance to hit a breaking ball. So you really need to take advantage of shorten up and really just hit the first fastball he throws for a strike.
Here's a 2-2 coming up to Alexei Ramirez. Jamal Weeks on deck, and then the pitcher Vargas. And a high fly ball lifted out to center field. Randall Grichuk. So Matt Carpenter gets that foul ball, and wait a minute. I'm not sure if that was supposed to go to the fan in front, the young kid with the glove, and then he hands it to a guy that's got both uniforms on.
Like, you see the husband and wife, one sitting with one color, one sitting with another. Now he's really confused. He's got 2 colors on one person.
It's a conflicted family right there.
Just rooting for the game of baseball in general.
Jamal Weeks, the 0-1.
See those guys that ask for autographs? You come out of the dugout, or you come out of the locker room or whatever, and they got Cardinals hat on. You walk around the corner and you see him on the other side of the street with the Padres hat on.
Right. You probably signed for one guy at least 500 different times, and all 500 are probably on eBay.
And he had a different outfit and a different hat on every time, probably the same day. This guy's got this down to a science.
Some Cardinal fans are here out west in San Diego. We'll wrap up this series tomorrow, then head to Arizona. We saw Yadi point to the right side there, trying to alert Brandon Moss and also Colton Wong with the off-speed pitch. You used to follow Yadi an awful lot in center field to see what he was doing.
Every pitch. What I love about Yadi is he knows how important that is, and that's something that we talked about, but you can see that he's taking that to his guys now and teaching them, where I brought that to him talking about I needed the help, and now he's offering the help to the rest of his guys because he knows how much that helps in positioning and even just getting a jump.
2-2 is in the dirt. 3-2 the count with one out here in the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 San Diego. RBI by Melvin Upton Jr. A little bit high. Friday, April 29th, 30,000 fans ages 16 and older receive an adult zip-up hooded sweatshirt. Stay warm as you cheer on the Cardinals all season long. Visit cardinals.com/promotions for tickets. You know, we just had a unique situation with Michael Wacha, and we both were talking about it during the break with his bunt play, whether or not that was interference on Wacha. You thought it was waved off, and it goes down as 2-6-3. As Wacha here on this play will go to Colt Wong covering the bag at first.
Made a good decision right there, just not trying to do too much, throwing the ball over to first base. But yeah, that play, that last inning, you don't see all the different reactions from the umpires. I don't know if he's calling him safe, if he's calling him out. But double play nonetheless.
Nonetheless, man in scoring position now for John Jay. He's 1 for 2. Give Vargas some credit here, as he has pitched into the fifth, has not allowed a run, and now picks up his first sacrifice here in the big leagues. And it's ball 1 to John Jay.
And you can see Will Myers inching closer and closer to the plate.
Up and into Jay. He definitely was not that close last time that Jay was up.
Creeping up there each pitch. I know back in the day, I think there'd be some pitchers that would take a little bit of offense to that.
Problem is, sometimes it's the guy at the plate right now that gets the brunt of it, not the man on deck.
Well, back in the day, back in the way day,
yeah,
I think the man on deck there would be a wild pitch, and it would be during the at-bat. If that was Al Roboski pitching right now, one would definitely slip out of his hand and end up over by the on-deck circle.
Here's a 2-1 to John Jay. Tails away for ball 3.
To be honest with you, I'll be surprised if someone doesn't say something to him eventually. That's a little extreme. I mean, he's closer to John Jay right now than he is to the on-deck circle.
The 3-1 pitch to Jay. Now full count. And we mean this sincerely. There are some pitchers that really take offense to that. A personal affront when you are not at the on-deck circle and are closer to home plate. 3-2. And it's a walk. So 2 walks in the inning. 2 in the game. What's on tap is coming your way, and we have Mike Leake going tomorrow. We'll have that game for you right here on Fox Sports Midwest. It's presented by Budweiser. Leake, 6 career starts against San Diego. A 3.31 ERA. He was born and raised in this area, then eventually moved to Arizona. So it'll be a thrill for him, I'm sure. Here's Will Myers. Make a case. This is the most dangerous man right now in their lineup. He is hot.
Yeah, he's been swinging the bat really well. Let's see if they don't try to do something different. Get in nice and tight, or I don't think he's hit too many breaking balls yet. I always wonder sometimes when I was standing out in the outfield
And you know, a guy's hot, and there's really nothing. Sometimes you can, you know, you can't do something when a guy's hot. But I used to say, when are we going to change our game plan? You know, you always think somebody's not paying attention, which everyone's paying attention. But sometimes when you're standing out there in the outfield, you think to yourself, am I the only guy seeing this?
Guys hitting rockets all series.
That happened with Sean Casey in the World Series. I could see him getting hot, and I told the guys, I'm like, hey, watch out for Sean Casey. This thing isn't over yet.
Fly ball, shallow left center, and the catch made by Holiday. Padres strand 2. We head to the 6th. San Diego leads by a run. For the St. Louis Cardinals, and it's the power stats with the home runs. Mentioned it earlier, nearly 50% of their runs have come via the home run. Cardinals have hit 23 here in the month of April, as opposed to 14 this time last year. It's 1-0 San Diego. Piscotty, Holiday, and Moss. Let's see if they can't get to Vargas third time through. First pitch, hit off the end of the bat and foul.
Still throwing that cutter. He's throwing it and throwing it and throwing it.
The Padres have won 4 of their last 6 games, with the pitching staff posting an ERA of about 3.5. And remember, they started the year losing 8 of 11, and the ERA in those games was close to 6. So it's a pretty simple formula. You pitch, you play decent defense, timely hitting. It's all cliche, but so true. You win.
Well, pitching is so important. It's almost like I mean, obviously, the longer you can hold the team down, you're going to score eventually. But defense just thrives off that pitching, and you take that into the dugout, and guys are fired up. You got a guy going out there like I said, he's getting the ball and he's stepping on the mound, throwing it, throwing strikes, keeping people off balance. Not a lot of runs being scored, not a lot of hits, but typical of this ballpark. But
that's drilled deep left, and this game is tied. A blast off the bat of Stephen Piscotty, and we're tied at 1-1.
Like I said.
But you know what? You have said pitches that are up get hit, and that ball was up.
Well, and like I said too, I'm waiting to see who's going to make the adjustment. And right there, a little bit of an adjustment, but ball was up and something he could get out there and get.
Off the scoreboard in left.
It was a missile.
Here's Holiday. This is our Nissan drive of the game.
Breaking ball.
Yep.
Up.
Wow.
Ball was hit.
Here's Holiday. No balls and 2 strikes. Holiday is walked and also grounded out to short.
See that home run by Piscotty is one of those things to me, like when I'm watching the game from my point of view, that he's throwing the ball, Vargas is throwing the ball away, cutters away, not a whole lot of stuff going in. So Piscotty starts to stay back a little bit longer, look the other way, and then when you hang the breaking ball, you have a better chance of hammering it. You know, if you have to speed up a little bit and you're thinking he's going to pitch in and you're flinching a little bit with your shoulder, that breaking ball flips up there. Sometimes you can't time it because you're just moving around. You don't know what to expect. But when you're looking up the middle, trying to stay up the middle, that's why the hitting coaches preach up the middle. And then the breaking ball is hung, you hammer it.
And again, it's another home run for the Cardinals. Something I'm not sure we all expected coming out of spring training. The power the Cardinals have had early on. It's fouled back and a good cut by Holiday. Did you work much with Piscotty in spring training?
No, not really. Just a little defense. He's so quiet. Such a good kid and just so quiet and just kind of goes about his business. Doesn't have a lot to say. Doesn't make a lot of noise. Just goes out and gets his work done.
3-2 pitch. And that'll be a walk to Holiday, who almost hit the umpire. Now you don't see that every day. He is walked countless times in the big leagues, in the minor leagues.
Extra pine tar.
And he probably never has done that. Hey, thanks for the walk.
When I was watching it on the monitor, and when I saw him turn around, I thought, no way did he call that a strike. I didn't see the bat yet.
Oh, man. Well, Andy Green now will go to his pen after the debut of Cesar Vargas. So Chevy called to the pen, and he gets a nice round of applause. We wondered, would the Cardinals get to him third time through? The answer came one swing of the bat. Piscotty has tied it up. The walk to Holiday. It's a new game here in San Diego. On TV. You can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream the Cardinals wherever you go. Kevin Quackenbush is the new pitcher. Hasn't allowed an earned run in 5 of his 8 outings, but he's allowed a run in each of the last 4. Get a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal. 2-pitch pitcher, fastball, curveball. This will be Brandon Moss with nobody out here in the top of the 6th. And a score of 1-1. Well, the Padres had absolutely no idea what to expect out of Vargas, and he pitches into the 6th. I'm sure they're pleased with that.
Thought he pitched a really good game. Got a nice hand walking off the field. Deserved a nice hand from the home crowd. Really one mistake.
The shift on here for Moss. He's got 4 home runs, 10 RBIs. 7 hits this year. 6 of the 7 have gone for extra bases. Sent one to the track in left center back in the 1st and struck out at a curveball back in the 4th.
Hit a ball hard last night too.
This was a bullpen ERA wise that was the best in the National League 2 years ago. Last year they were 13th. Young fan brought a glove and
got a rebound.
Yep. Off the chest, off the bare hand, and souvenir.
Not sure what to do with it.
A little scared.
Yeah. A little edgy. Pose for a picture.
Hit sharply. Double play ball. Ramirez steps on the bag. Cardinals have hit into 2 double plays the last 2 innings. Blues and Hawks playing game 6 tonight in Chicago. And after Cardinals baseball, we'll have Blues Live, our post game with John Bernie Panger. Hear from the guys who know the Blues the best on Missouri Lottery Blues Live. They do such a good job throughout the season. Here's Randall Grichuk. Miss hearing their voices when the Blues head to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's right, the finals.
You said it.
Yes, sir. Found it interesting how the management team here in San Diego looks at what they're doing. They say it's not rebuilding, just retooling. Not a complete rebuild. They feel there's some veterans here that'll be here for the long haul. And it was just last season they made a ton of deals. A.J. Preller went out. Got Kimbrel, got the Uptons, Will Myers. But they got a lot of pieces that just didn't fit. You know, when you looked at them defensively, it wasn't a very good team. Some guys were out of position. Now they're talking about building through the draft. Curveball drops in for a strike. There's a look at Brett Wallace, who actually started the double play moments ago. Here's Ramirez. Just gets Grichuk. So the shift on here for Brandon Moss, and it was Brett Wallace flipping to Ramirez. Watch this. That's your third baseman. 1-1 midway through 6. maker, highest run differential in Major League Baseball this year. The Cardinals plus 28 with a record of 8-8. Cubs off to a great start, clearly, along with Washington, the Dodgers in the top 4. That's the BJC Healthcare difference maker. One thing that happens with Michael Wacha, the Cardinals are very cautious with his shoulder. Doesn't go very deep into games. His pitch count is at 75. Michael is due up 4th for the Cardinals in the 7th. Very well could be his final inning of work.
Yeah, you kind of always watch to see if the bullpen starts moving around. I always thought it was a fine line too, as a manager or as anyone on that field, is when, if you know your pitcher's about to be at the end of the game, when do you want somebody thrown in the bullpen? Because you know that that can get in somebody's head.
Sure.
Wondering why is there someone warming up? He feels good. It's only got 78 pitches, but
there's also a flip side to that too, with guys in the bullpen that you think you're going to use that night. You don't want to get them up too early. As Kemp fouls it back.
I mean, by no means is it cold, but it's damp enough to where you also want to give somebody some time to make sure that they can get loose. Their legs moving. Legs are just as important as the arm.
2-2.
So many games inside the game.
Oh, man. Every pitch you can dissect. At this level, undoubtedly, you can do that. Ooh, doesn't get the call, and the count runs full. You know, here's a good example. 3-2. You go with an off-speed pitch. You say, all right, here's the fastball. Hit it.
If I go here, I'm going fastball.
Looked to be a changeup at 86 and hit into the corner. So leadoff double, Matt Kemp, and his second double of the night as we take a look at our Chevy Fox tracks.
Reason I said fastball, Kemp being so big, but he's not a wild swinger, and he seems to be a little bit of have a little bit longer swing than a lot of big guys, and he stays on the off-speed pitches a lot better than a guy that usually is a home run hitter and free swinger.
Trying to sneak that change up by him. It's a circle change that Michael Wacha throws. And the 1-0 is popped up. Piscotty will give chase, but that's out of play. You bring up a good point. A veteran, and they talk about a professional hitter. That's what Matt Kemp is.
There's that grip on that changeup. Probably trying to catch him off guard, like happened to Adams yesterday. I've just seen too many highlights, and sometimes you play this game and no guys do certain things, and I've seen too many highlights of him hitting off-speed pitches hard.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Upton, taken low. Upton was robbed by Colton Wong back in the 4th. Sac fly RBI. Remember, this guy was the 2nd overall pick back in 2002 at Tampa Bay. That's it out of play. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Upton really never hit for a high average, but a lot of stolen bases, can make things happen with his speed. Pretty good defender. But man, he fell off for a couple of years. He wondered if he'd ever get it back. 3-2 pitch. just got a piece. Off the mask of the umpire.
You know, it's funny when you look at some of these guys' baseball cards, as they say. He was in Tampa Bay for a while, kind of up and down a little bit, probably some little nagging injuries. But it looks like, just looking at it, he started struggling when he left. You get out of that comfort zone, had to go to Atlanta.
Also, the expectations of signing a deal close to $90 million. The pressure maybe that you feel with that. He was a big signing at that time by the Atlanta Braves. 3-2 again. Ground ball pulled foul. About that though, two guys, two brothers. One is the 2nd overall pick, the other one is number 1 overall. That's some talent in that family. The third, 3-2, and he walked him. Fans can purchase a special theme ticket to Bud Bash and get an exclusive bobblehead and autograph from Jeff Suppan Tuesday, May 3rd. Purchase your tickets at cardinals.com/budbash. Jeff he penciled him in 10 to 15 wins, 200 innings, and he came up big in postseason play, both in 04 and in 06. The MVP of the NLCS of 2006. Third walk issued by Michael Wacha. Here's Wallace. And a ground ball. Slowly hit. They'll only get one. Runners move up to 2nd and 3rd.
Maybe the difference right there between a young hitter and a veteran hitter. Got a good changeup up out over the plate to hit right there, and he was just cheating for a fastball. Moves the runners along, but when you go back to the dugout, you'd like to have that pitch back.
Here is Derek Norris. They're going to walk him. They're going to pitch to Alexi Ramirez, who has hit a fly ball to the track and left, and also has flied to center field. You find this interesting with a guy that is 0 for 2 tonight, and there's only 4 other players that are regulars hitting below Derek Norris.
No, you want to get a situation where you do have a force out. He's been getting a lot of ground balls. We talk about, wasn't Ramirez last night the one we said is a ground ball hitter, and Manus got him hitting a ground ball?
Yeah. He's had a couple, though, that he's hit well tonight. And so Ramirez will come up with the bases loaded, only 1 out in a 1-1 game here in the bottom of the 6th. The clock part of the game now this year, 30 seconds from the time that Derek Littlequist steps out onto the field.
Shot clock.
That's what you got.
Do you remember my first day in spring training? The first question I asked you was,
what is that?
What's that clock out there for? I thought I was late. I think, what did it say, 2:20?
Yeah. That was between
innings. It was about 11:45, and I thought something was wrong.
Well, the Cardinals banking on a ground ball here and a double play. Maybe the potential strikeout of Ramirez, who has only struck out 8 times this year. Outfield shallow. Fly ball. Center field. Kemp will tag up. Catch made by Grichuk. And it's 2-1 San Diego.
See a fastball right there. He's trying to get out over the plate, maybe trying to get him to roll over something. Ran back over the plate just enough to hit a ground ball, or I mean a fly ball. Sorry. It's consistent tonight. The fly balls.
Yep. Now Jemile Weeks, the switch hitter, has walked and also flied out to right. Pitch number 97 tonight, and Walker pounces on it and makes the play. The Padres regain the lead. We head to the 7th. The RBI by Ramirez, his 5th, and it's 2-1. It's 2-1 San Diego over St. Louis here at the top of the 7th. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So this would be the 2nd inning of work for Quackenbush. The new third baseman is Adam Rosales, who actually was a AAA roommate with his manager Andy Green. And Rosales has found a home here in San Diego, made the start yesterday. It's Yadier Molina, followed by Jerko and Diaz. 2-1 San Diego. Molina has walked and also grounded out. Cardinals have a home run from Steven Piscotty. He's got 2 hits tonight to account for their lone run. Cardinals with just 5 hits tonight. San Diego with just 4. Matt Adams. May see him pinch hit before it's all said and done.
Getting loose underneath that stadium. These nice new stadiums have some really nice facilities underground. I mean, you got everything underneath there.
A couple of batting cages.
Guys can throw, run, weight room, bikes to ride to stay warm.
You know, I remember talking to Aaron Miles, and he had a couple of really good years in St. Louis, and he signed a nice contract with Chicago. And he said the hardest aspect of playing with the Cubs was the fact that the facilities wouldn't allow him to get loose to be able to pinch hit. There was no cage.
It's tough, really tough. You know what? We had the year that I was there. They had a little net in the weight room, and that was all soft toss. That's all you had.
Ball high to Yadier Molina.
It's the top of the 7th. Dinner's starting to come out of the kitchen. Sneak up there and get a little food.
For a guy that keeps himself in the kind of shape you do, I've never been around a guy more concerned about food.
Hungry, man. I'm always hungry. Drive my wife crazy.
That's a ball taken by Molina and a leadoff walk.
Everybody's always hungry. I think Jim Hayes is probably up there eating the hot dogs now. I haven't seen him in a while.
Usually about this time, Jimmy heads over to the snack bar and lets it rip. Jed Jerko is 1 for 2 with a single back in the 2nd. Single to left and then also grounded out into a fielder's choice. You know, Bernie Federko was like that too. Hall of Fame hockey player. It'd be a tight game and all of a sudden Bernie be concerned about where we're going to eat after the game. And he'd put on a clinic. Ball 1 to Jerko, so out to visit goes Norris.
I'm not concerned about going out to dinner after the game. I was just giving you some information. What goes on underneath the stadium.
I was reading into it.
As if you didn't know.
Seen some things.
Like at a restaurant, we need a runner.
Yeah.
Get us some food.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Jerko. Oh my goodness. Quackenbush can't find it. Throws to first and gets the out. Where did that catch him? He did not catch the ball. He had no idea where that was. I agree with you, Jimmy. I mean, to the naked eye, it looked like it caught his wrist, the glove hand. The players checking on him, but nobody from the medical side of the Padres has hopped out of the dugout yet.
I think it hit him in the heel of the glove, to be honest with you. You see right here, this is a scary situation. Didn't know whether to duck, put his hand out to catch it, hit him in the heel of the glove. And tell you what I like about this whole situation? San Diego Padres staff saw that he was okay, said he was okay, and let him go.
Yep.
Sometimes I wonder why guys run out there when you can completely see that he's okay, he's not limping, he's not jumping around, and yet we run a trainer out there, we run the manager out there, the shot clock starts. It should start, actually. It just kills a bunch of time.
This is only the second at bat the Cardinals have had tonight with a man in scoring position. The other was Michael Wacha back in the 2nd inning. Aledmys Diaz 2 for 2. Inside. It's hard not to be impressed with what we've seen from Diaz. Average at .429 now.
Just seems comfortable. Doesn't seem like he's trying, I mean, when you see a guy that doesn't look like he's trying too much, seems comfortable, staying under control.
Doesn't play scared either. Some guys come up and they're awed with the situation and it takes him a while to adjust. That has not been the case at all here for Diaz. Runner at second is Yadier Molina. It's a hitter's count. 2 balls, 1 strike on Aledmys Diaz. Matt Carpenter has moved to the on-deck circle. Padres have a lefty getting loose. They've got Hand out there and also Buchter. Off-speed pitch. He may beat this out. He will. Gets down the line so well. He's 3 for 3 tonight.
Gets an off-speed pitch, runs away from him. He sees right here he's got a chance to beat this out. He doesn't even look back. He runs hard the whole way, like you're supposed to. Gets out of the box and gets going.
Matt Carpenter has been announced as the pinch hitter, and the Padres will go to their bullpen. That'll be it for Quackenbush. And a chance for Carpenter. When we come back, it's our Chevy call to the pen here at the top of the 7th. Next time you want to grab seats, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love, whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by the best value. Get the StubHub app today. So Brad Hand, the lefty, comes in. He was claimed off of waivers from the Marlins. We saw him a bunch in spring training. So Carpenter certainly has a familiarity with this lefty. And Matt had a tough night last night. He had runners at second and third, 1 out, struck out. Had a runner in the 7th at third, and then struck out again. He said the pregame show with Jim Hayes, it's more of a mental break the night off. But around the 7th inning, you got to get locked in because you might be in this spot right here. And the first pitch is taken for a strike.
Yeah, when you're an everyday player and you get the afternoon off or the evening off, you know it's most likely you're going to get a chance to hit in the 7th, 8th, or 9th. Especially if you're a guy like Carp, that you can always count on. It was never a full day off when you sat on the bench.
0-2 the count. The Cardinals and their pinch hitters have been fabulous this year. And Matt with runners in scoring position, no surprise, 389 his average. He's been one of the best in baseball the last 3 years in this spot. Diaz, your runner at first. Molina is at third. And a 2-1 lead for San Diego. It's the first game off, if you will, or non-start for Matt Carpenter. Carpenter fights it off on the 0-2, and it's a base hit. And this game is tied at 2-2. Carpenter drives in Molina. Fights off the 0-2 pitch. And it's a 2-2 game.
Matt Carpenter fashion right there. Tough at bat, stays on a ball, gets jammed, stays inside it, finds a way to get it done. Let's see right here, he's not trying to do anything special. Stays inside the ball. It's funny is when you're struggling as a left-handed hitter, sometimes facing a lefty is what you need. Keep you in there, stays on the ball. You can see right here, he stays in there, lets the ball get deep. You would think quite the opposite. It would go out there and you'd be, you know, you're facing a lefty and it's tougher, but sometimes it makes you concentrate more, makes you stay in there a little bit longer. Good things happen.
Looks like we'll have a double switch here. Cardinals pinch hitters are now 12 for 31 with 10 RBIs. Coming off the bench, looks like it's Jose Pirela. And Carlos Villanueva, who's with St. Louis a year ago, will come on. Chevy call to the pen. We're tied at 2. on for the Cardinals, and now it's time for crickets, something to smile about. Carpenter all smiles as he fights off the 0-2 pitch. Brings in Yadier Molina. Whoop, better check and make sure I got it for sure. There it was. Now we're official. It's 2-2. Carlos Villanueva is into the ball game. What's interesting about Villanueva, he had never had an ERA under 3.69, and then last year with the Cardinals 2.95. Didn't pitch in a lot of games a season ago with St. Louis.
I was shocked to see that he only pitched in 35 games last year. As valuable as he is, as durable as he is, kind of caught me off guard a little bit.
So 2 on, and here's Jeremy Hazelbaker. Jeremy trying to get back on track after a terrific start. Hazelbaker is 0 for his last 17. Average at .302, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. 2 for 7 with a home run as a pinch hitter. You pointed to it last night. Kind of in between, feeling for it a little bit at the plate.
I tell you, quickest way to get in a slump is being pitched in. And trying to do something about it. You start to doubt yourself, or you start to try to do too much. So he doesn't stay out over the plate here.
Pitched him in, and he fouls it slowly. 0-2 the count.
Got to go back to swinging at strikes, being patient. Problem with being in a slump is it seems like every time you're up there, you're 0-2.
Yeah. Carpenter at first. Aledmys Diaz, the runner at second. Here's the 0-2. You know, even right there, you see him out in front.
He's got a little jumpy.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Get too jumpy, don't see the ball as well. Don't recognize spin fast enough.
Now Norris wants to talk it over. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You were telling me Hazelbaker was one of the first guys that really caught your eye this spring.
Just his body is athletic, tall, can run. You've seen the power. For me, I get to see, the first thing I see is the guys running around the outfield. I think that spend some time with some guys in the outfield, you can see who's an athlete and who's going to have some trouble just by the way they run after a fly ball, and that's starts happening first, second day of spring training.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Jeremy. High fly ball into deep right center field. Will it carry? It is gone! 3-run homer. That's how you bust out of that 0 for 17. Jeremy Hazelbaker. And the Cardinals have the lead, 5-2. Woo!
Wasn't in between there, was he?
No, sir.
What's funny is the first pitch he kind of took. Second pitch, he looked like he pulled away from it a little bit, then threw the breaking ball and he fouled it off. And the pitch after that, it looked like he had better timing. And then 1 pitch later, he's all over it. And then some water in the face for good measure.
What a relief that must be for him. That's how you bust out of that 0 for 17. And a strike to Stephen Piscotty. Jeremy Hazelbaker, his second pinch hit home run. Piscotty with a fly ball out to right. Backing up a step or two is Matt Kemp. And again, it's another pinch hit home run for the St. Louis Cardinals. That is 7 pinch hit home runs for the Cardinals here in the month of April. Incredible.
I mean, you can see how strong he is. He didn't even take a swing at that ball.
No. Now Holiday with 2 outs, and it's 5-2 St. Louis. Jeremy Hazelbaker just helped the Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Have you seen anything like this in terms of what they have done, pinch hitting?
No, that's usually the toughest part of the game. That usually is something that takes time to develop. Because when you come out of spring training, it's hard to tell what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. Especially, you got young guys in that club that are just a couple guys first time to the big leagues. I mean, it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Wow. It's incredible. Cardinals haven't had this kind of run in pinch hitting in the history of their club. Breaking ball hit left side. And Holiday is retired. Jeremy Hazelbaker snaps in 0 for 17. He do it. 3-run homer. Time to stretch. Cardinals on top. 5-2. In the game and takes over in left field for Holiday. New pitcher is Sung Won Oh. Matt Carpenter also stays in the game. He'll take over at third. Jerko shifts from third to second, and our Chevy call to the bullpen takes us to the right-hander Oh. He's been very good. Finally has an ERA of 2.08 after giving up a couple of runs against Chicago in the day game on Wednesday. The pinch hitters for St. Louis are now 13 for 32. 7 home runs, 13 RBIs as they pick up 4 RBIs from their pinch hitters in that top of the 7th. 3 on 1 swing of the bat. Man.
7 home runs in the first month of the season for the pinch hit group. That is that's something you don't see in an entire season.
No.
I'd like to look that up. I'd like to have Trokey sitting next to me right now and look that up in an instant.
Tim Trokey, of course, working in our pre and post game shows.
Stat man.
We call him Dr. Trokey.
Nerd Trokey.
Suits
Dr.
him better.
Trokey.
I like the previous one better.
He is on top of it, though.
a swing and a miss by Jose Pirela. And a strikeout for Sungwon Oh. Plaza Tire Fox Tracks. A lot of strikeouts from Oh to start this year.
It's funny how you never think that those stats really matter until you need them when you're working.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Oh now has 14 strikeouts. He must be tough to pick up because guys get a lot of late swings against him.
Well, what I saw in spring training is just that he's really smooth and the ball jumps out of his hand. And that was just in the first couple of days of pitchers, and pitchers are throwing off the mound to the hitters. Just a little sneaky.
And he
Just
blows
like
away John Jay.
And you got to definitely turn it up a notch during the season, so it's gets even tougher. You can see this ball right here just up in the zone and by him.
I'm curious if you see
toe tap.
a little Rob Nen in O.
That's about the only person I can think of that would ever get away with that little toe tap.
Will Myers hits it out of play. 7 pinch hit home runs, ties a major league record for most in a single month. 1958 Philadelphia Phillies. You got a chance to set that all-time mark. It's only April 23rd. Uh-oh, help it back in. You ever watch Deadliest Catch?
Yes, I used to.
I look like a guy from Deadliest Catch.
I was wondering where you were going with that one.
That's where it was, right there. The slider misses low. Well, the other day, Mike Matheny went with O for multiple innings. And here's a guy that was a closer in Japan and Korea. And if this is efficient, this is only pitch number 10 here. Does he think about going out with another inning? Slowly hit to short, glove by Diaz, and Myers is safe at first. He beat it out.
Ground ball right there seemed to be pretty routine. Just came up, threw the ball a little bit wide of the bag. Actually pulled him off the bag.
So this would be
see
an
that
error.
in this situation.
Yeah, it's an error on Diaz. That's his 5th. Majority of those errors have come with routine ground balls. And the Cardinals have talked about with David Bell, Jimmy, trying to get him on top and just letting it go. Routine plays, just let it go. Now Matt Kemp. The fastball taken high. O should be out of this inning.
Something about those routine plays sometimes. I don't know what it is.
And if you're Mike Matheny, it may be, you start to rethink how you would approach a second inning with O if this turns into more pitches than what he's been throwing. One ball, one strike. Kemp with a couple of doubles tonight was robbed by Colton Wong.
It's like he's throwing darts at 94, 93, 94.
That's what surprised me a little bit. You know, we were talking to the coaching staff in spring training, and what we were told was that velocity would be 90 to 92, but very good movement, very good control, and his velocity has been better than that.
Like I said, the ball just jumps out of his hand. It's very smooth and deliberate, and then just bam, right on top of you. When you're down there watching that on the field, you can see the ball just jump. It's got late life, they say. All that means is the ball is just carrying right to the glove, and There's really no tailing. There's no movement. It's a four-seam fastball.
And he got him. He strikes out the side, pitches around the air by Aledmys Diaz.
Thing when you throw the ball by a few people, you get to throw this.
And quite a find for the Cardinals here in the first month. Start for the Diamondbacks Monday night as we head to Arizona. We'll see our good buddy Shelby Miller on Tuesday. And here is Brandon Moss. Our attendance tonight, 26,421. 26421. Jim Hayes had a great interview with O and his interpreter, the pregame show, and in terms of multiple innings, if you're wondering, he said he did it a number of times, so certainly you could see that again tonight, potentially. There's Eugene Koo behind Matt Adams, the interpreter for O. Here's a 1-1.
He's in pretty good shape. I'm sure you've been around. Been going on a couple weeks now. I mean, he's no joke. He's in shape. He's thick.
Yeah, and O's in pretty good shape too.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I thought you were talking about Eugene. Eugene's interpreting, but I don't think O's got much to say. Stone Buddha, man, he doesn't say much.
Stone Buddha, no. Oh, now you see, he's talking now.
Eugene tries to teach him a couple of words every day.
It's a good idea. Word of the day. One word a day, and speaking English in no time.
The 2-2.
What'd you get out of that?
I think they're probably planning dinner.
He's like, whew, got my inning out of the way. Right. Now what? Yep.
O told me his favorite food is from Simon, who is the chef for the Cardinals.
That's probably all he's been eating the last 2 months.
Moss, a line drive and a base hit into right. His first hit tonight.
Tell you what, he's hitting a hard 195.
As you look at this offense, is this the key right here? Randal Grichuk. I mean, you don't want to put too much on him, but here he is. He's in the middle of the lineup. You're anticipating him playing every day, 500 at bats. Is he the key to make things go?
I'm not going to say he's the key, but I'm going to say he's a humongous part, or a very big part of what this offense can be. I mean, I think he knows that. I think everyone knows that. And he's expected to go out there and play all year long and be a huge part of this offense and defense, and that's why he's out there. But you know, this is a grind. This is a learning experience every day. He's still a young man. He's still trying to figure out what he has to do to be successful, and then you have to figure out what people are going to do against you to get you out.
Early portion of the season, he was drawing more walks, which that was a positive. And you see that breaking ball middle outer half, at times he'll chase that. Runner at first is Brandon Moss. The next two, Randall Grichuk. So the Cardinals, another pinch hit home run. And for St. Louis this year, 7 of them. The rest of Major League Baseball combined had 8 pinch hit home runs entering today. 8. The 1-2. There's the pitch that they've been getting him out with.
Well, that's just the case of being comfortable with slowing down and not worrying about getting beat by a fastball and recognizing the spin of an off-speed pitch. And that's just something that comes with time. And you're going to have to slow down a little bit and start working on hitting the ball the other way. The crazy thing is for this young man is his strength is up the middle. And like I said before, sometimes I haven't seen all of his at-bats, but when you get pitched in and you get in a little bit of a rut, you start pulling off a little bit, and that's what gets you into, definitely gets you into a slump and gets you just pulling off pitches that usually you take or you hit the ball the other way.
Yadier Molina, a couple of walks, also grounded back to the pitcher. Yadi scored the run that tied the game. The pinch hit, base hit by Carpenter back in the 7th. Ball 1.
It's a good thing right here. You watch Yadi's at bat as he tries to get worked and work a count at the same time. And this is the kind of thing you see when guys get a little bit older and figure it out right there. He gets a fastball that he recognizes and he tries to let it go. Probably in this situation, he's thinking he probably won't get another one of those. So he's going to slow down a little bit. He's going to try to work the field and do it. Whatever he gets to deal with is what you got to take what they give you.
He's so good too with back control. We mentioned it last night. 2 strikes, fouling off those pitches that are deep in a zone, almost in the catcher's glove. And with runners on, in particular, in this kind of spot, runner at first base taking that pitch to right. Now when Villanueva's on the mound with a looping breaking ball, he'll jump on those pitches, but so many times that fastball, it's to right field.
Well, and that's also being comfortable. He knows he can do it. He's been doing it. That's something that Randall's got to learn, that confidence that he can do it. He does it from time to time during the course of the year, does it during spring training. They work on it in batting practice. It's just getting comfortable and understanding that you can do it during the game and be comfortable with just staying inside the ball, not trying to do too much.
Takes it to right field. Base hit for Yadier Molina.
Literally doing what we said. And you see right here, he gets a fastball. They're trying to go in. And this is what's so awesome about this game is he doesn't know hitting that they're trying to pitch him in right there. He gets a fastball out of the plate, doesn't try to do too much with it, and makes us look good pretty much.
That's the most important aspect.
You're welcome, by the way, everyone. Thanks, Yachty.
Now Jed Jerko. Stays away from that breaking pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. Jerko a single to left. Also hit a screamer back to the pitcher. At that time, Quackenbush hit off the heel of his glove and he was able to throw him out. The 2-0 with 2 on. Wow. That baby is launched. It's another 3-run homer for the Cardinals. This one from the former Padre Jed Jerko. Woo! 3-run homer. He's up to 7 RBIs. The second 3-run homer of the night for the Cardinals. No doubt about that one. In San Diego, the last 3 years, he has averaged 14 home runs a year, and you know he wanted to do that against his former team.
Kind of helps with the boos from last night.
Yes. Here's Aledmys Diaz, who is 3 for 3, and it's an 8-2 St. Louis lead.
I wonder if these guys that come over from other organizations are used to the water in the face yet.
Carlos just having a little fun.
Martinez, that is.
Yes.
Not Villanueva.
Nope. He's come in and allowed a pair of 3-run homers. And Diaz lines that fair down into the corner. Aledmys Diaz on his way to second base, and that is his team leading 7th double of the year. Back to the home run by Jerko.
This gets a fastball right down the middle. I think he knew he got it, but I'm not sure. Does that look tell you that he got it?
Yes, sir.
Don't see that too often.
No, you don't.
But that was a good one. That feels really good, let me tell you. When you hit them like that, those are hard to come by.
Here's Carpenter. A key pinch hit in this game. At the time, remember, it was 2-1 just an inning ago. And he had fallen behind against a lefty, 0-2. First career 4-hit game for Aledmys Diaz. The Cardinals now with 12 hits and an 8-2 lead. Two 2-0 the count on Carpenter.
Maybe they heard us talk about the offenses early on in the game today and just got a little fired up, you know?
It's picked up. Carpenter with a high fly ball into center field. Jay under it, makes the catch. Diaz draws the throw. He's back to the bag at second, and there's 2 outs. It's not only the pinch hit home runs, but it's the timing of these home runs and what the Cardinals offense has done in late innings. If you just joined us, we had a graphic earlier that showed you innings 7, 8, and 9 is when the Cardinals are doing a lot of damage. Well, they put up 7 since that 7th inning.
Did somebody see this game
unfolding like this?
Yeah.
Hazelbaker, one of the big hits tonight. Pinch hit, 3-run homer.
See that lady right there with that foul ball? I know they didn't show it on TV, but me and you were watching. That's how I'd catch a foul ball. I'd let it hit the seat, fall on the ground, and then I'd bend over and pick it up and show it to you.
I watched you in spring training. You're still moving well. One ball, one strike, 2 outs, and a runner at second base. Villanueva saw Jeremy Hazelbaker, the first man, when he came in relief of Quackenbush in hand. Ground ball hit up the middle. Ramirez stabs at it. The throw is wide, but the stretch there by Myers. Cardinals strand a runner, but they pick up 3 more with 1 swing of the bat. Jed Jerko. Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. Beautiful downtown San Diego. Chevy called to the pen, takes us to Jonathan Broxton. Cardinals brought him back with a 2-year deal. And Broxton will pitch the 8th. Sungwon Oh struck out the side in the 7th. Upton Jr., Rosales, and Norris.
Show downtown. You get out, walk around during the daytime.
Oh, yeah. Love that area, too.
Beautiful city, isn't it?
Yep. Can't beat the weather. The beautiful scenery.
Nice
Popped up into shallow right. Calling for it and making the play is Jed Jerko.
We said last night how this ballpark downtown just changes the whole atmosphere down here. And I'm telling you, when I was playing, I loved to play in the old stadium, but
Qualcomm
was good. It was friendly for hitters, but this is a neat spot, unique. Downtown seems like it's getting bigger and bigger every time we come here.
It really does. A lot of construction going on in this part of downtown San Diego as Rosales swings through the first pitch for strike 1.
Little skyline for you right there, my friend.
Not a hitter's park, but if you're a fan, you love it. One of the changes this year is they have a deck in right center. That used to be a beach area.
Kind of still is.
Yeah, a little bit. They got the look of
surfboard.
it. Just no sand.
No sand. Big
One
sand
ball, one
pit.
strike. But
Sorry.
they do have the grassy area for fans. It's like a $3 or $5 ticket to sit out there. And it's one of the most popular places at the ballpark.
It's the same people that used to sit in the sand. Now they're just sitting in the grass. All the kids.
It's the way to do it. Rosales hits it out of play. Old Jack Murphy, and it turned into Qualcomm. Chargers are still playing there, and they're trying to get a new stadium here in San Diego. And I'm sure they'll get a fair shake from the NFL.
No comment.
The 2-2 pitch. Rosales pops it back and foul just below us. So you're getting used to it.
It's as close as I'm going to get, I'm telling you.
You didn't go under the table.
Not yet.
You're ready to make the catch. No issues whatsoever. You're all over it. The 2-2. The check swing, he did go, and a strikeout. So Broxton has gotten the first two. One of the things that has been consistent at the start of this year for the Cardinals, and again we talked about it, your offense, it'll come and go. The starting pitching has been at times good, at times it's been so-so, but what has not been has been this bullpen. This bullpen is a strength of this club. Really good. Road ERA coming into play tonight for the bullpen, 22 2/3, 1.90. Derek Norris breaks his bat, hit out to shallow center, and there is Randall Grichuk. 1-2-3. Solid inning for Jonathan Broxton. 8-2 as we head to the ninth. Oh, he's got now 9 appearances, 9 2/3, 3 hits, 16 strikeouts. It's been sensational. It's our Chevy call to the pen. And this is Luis Perdomo. He was property of the Cardinals and actually appeared in the Futures game with St. Louis. They left him unprotected, and he was picked up in the Rule 5 draft. And so here's another one of those young arms the Cardinals had, and unfortunately he was picked up. And you know, the mindset at the time was he was at the low minor leagues that, look, if you're going to pick him up, that means he's got to be on your roster, stay for the entire season. Do you want to expose a young player that could get beat up, major league hitters, for a full year? And as we've talked about, San Diego's trying to get younger. They're trying to develop these pitchers. So they took a chance, and here he is.
It's got to be such a tough job for the GM. I mean, just got to, there's only so much you can do, and there's got to be someone has to, you're going to lose someone. Someone has to be the one. How do you pick the one that you're going to let get away?
Perdomo.
Speaking of Rule 5s and getting away, got a guy in the bullpen right now for us. Rule 5 draft with Bowman. I mean, I saw him throw in spring training, and I think to myself, how did they let this kid get away?
He's pretty good.
I think he's got great stuff.
Last year, Perdomo was at Peoria and also at Palm Beach. At 17 starts at Peoria. He was 5-9. At Palm Beach, made 5 starts, was 1-3.
.95, good two-seam fastball.
So the team that originally picked him up in the Rule 5 was Colorado, that traded away to San Diego, and he's got to stay with this club. But there were scouts that came away from the Futures game and said this was the most impressive guy they saw because of the velocity. Reyes was to be that pitcher, Alex Reyes, who is serving his suspension currently. And we will see him before this season is through. I know you had a chance to see him last couple of springs, and I have too. That young man is exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see what he can do and when he gets a chance.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how they ease him into the big leagues. Now, barring injury, you're talking about a guy that goes into the bullpen. But if the bullpen is doing what they're doing, you don't have injuries, your starting rotation is what it is, they can afford to keep him in the minor leagues to let him to continue to develop as Piscotty just gets a piece.
Well, I think it's a situation where, he's going to work his way back, and this game has a funny way of working itself out. So
yes, it does.
If he's not ready, he's got plenty of time to go down there and get some innings in and get going again. And if he's ready, they'll get him up here.
Piscotty rips it out to left. It hits off the top of the wall on a bounce and may have been touched by a fan. So Stephen Piscotty, it's a ground rule double. The Cardinals with 8 runs tonight, so 6 is a serious number. Get any size coffee, fountain, frozen drink tomorrow, just 50 cents at your local On the Run. And use the On the Run app to find your nearest store. You earned it. Here's Eric Fryer. He'll be the pinch hitter. You couldn't have a better start than what he's done here with the St. Louis Cardinals. Fryer is 6 for 6, 3 RBIs. He had a 3 for 3 day against the Cincinnati Reds. Grew up in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, so he said all his family and friends were watching that game back home in the Fox Sports Ohio feed, and his phone was loaded up with messages and congratulations. So he hits that out of play, 0-2. Well, if you're behind Yadier Molina, you're not going to play even if you are the regular backup. And if you're the secondary guy, you certainly aren't going to play much. But he's made the most of it, 6 for 6. And he also threw a man out.
Just trying to open up some eyes, no matter where those eyes are.
Well, Brian Pena could come back, and then all of a sudden Eric Fryer goes down to the minor leagues, continues to play, impresses. Get the call up late, or if something happens here, you're back up. There is no truer statement than you represent the Cardinals or the Padres or the Dodgers or the Rockies, but you are also showcasing yourself for every other team out there. Just the way the game is.
And I think that's one thing that young players don't understand. At least they didn't when I was playing the game. And if you're, you know, a guy like Skip Schumacher, perfect example. Like I said, I thought he should have been our 4th outfielder for years, and he's a guy that just went out there and played hard, and just kept himself in the league, and had a really successful career. But he always played hard. He knew that someone was watching, and he's going to get a chance to play somewhere. And that's just the attitude you got to have when you're not getting a lot of playing time.
Fryer hits it up the middle. There's Ramirez. Runner advances to third. And that's Stephen Piscotty. He has a 3-hit night. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. With Jim Hayes and Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and here is Brandon Moss, who is 1 for 4 tonight with a run scored.
He doesn't get cheated, does he?
It is all or nothing. The pitch taken down and in. Grichuk on deck. St. Louis now with 13 hits. They've out hit San Diego 13-4. Again, Mike Leake will get the start tomorrow for the Cardinals, trying to get on track. Infield is drawn in an 8-2 game. The ball scoots away, but not far enough for Piscotty to advance. There's Mike Leake, your former teammate in Cincinnati. Sometimes you see a player, they come to a new situation, they sign the big deal, and maybe they get that big hit, or in Mike's case, a solid start, picks up a win, then everything starts to fall into place.
It's almost like you have to just get back on track somehow, get comfortable again. It's just like you get out there and you just, that was with the Padres, I couldn't catch a break. And I felt as good as I could possibly feel. I was in I thought I was in as good a shape as I had been in my entire career, and it felt like everything I did went wrong. And then now you start playing scared, and you start pulling back a little bit, a little more timid, and not letting it go. And that can happen with anyone. It happened to me. I played in the big leagues for 16 years. Still have that feeling and uneasy on a new team and just trying to fit in, and just you just don't play like yourself.
Yeah, Mike Leake made the jump from college to the pros that we talked about. The only team he ever knew, Cincinnati, and then he gets the $80 million contract to come to St. Louis. And let's face it, you come to a team and an organization that expects to win. It's not an organization that's rebuilding. As Moss draws the walk, and it brings in Randal Grichuk. It's also funny how things work out too, as Darren Bowlesley will go out and visit with Perdomo, but Jim Edmonds traded for David Freese. David Freese comes in, he's a hometown hero. Then David Freese traded to Anaheim for the guy at the plate, Randal Grichuk. So runners at the corners.
Shot clock is on.
You are just, you love this shot clock. You're enamored by it.
I am in awe by it, that we have gotten to the point in this game that we have a shot clock. We got to come up with a good name for that.
I don't know what it would be.
Talk clock?
Talk clock would work. Visit clock. Hurry up clock.
Not a big fan.
Chris Bosio, he'd get out there. He didn't care with the Cubs. The pitching coach, he didn't run out there. It was a slow walk. He'd have about 12 seconds. Grichuk lines it into right field. Coming on Kemp. Trapped it. It's a base hit for Grichuk and an RBI. Nine to 2 Cardinals. The first hit for Randall Grichuk.
So I'm watching to see right here. See the reaction of him. He's not really diving out over the plate.
That's pulling off a little
just
bit.
Just a tiny. It's not really a pull off. It's just not anticipation of going out and getting the ball. And then you can see Matt Kemp with a great effort come up short. But those are the little things you look at when you're the hitting coach. And we're watching. You've been through some struggles and know what it's like to get pitched in and just having to try and do everything. And there's a lot of weight on your shoulders. And just look for those little tiny things.
Here's Adams. He'll pinch hit for Yadier Molina. Fryer then will stay in the game.
Just like I was talking with Hazelbaker's at bat. You know, that first at bat, his first pitch, he didn't look great. Second pitch, I thought he kind of was stepping in the bucket a little bit. Then he got that breaking ball and he looked better, and then bam, home run. I mean, you can sometimes find it in one at bat.
Adams shoots it the other way. That's slicing into left center, and the catch is made by John Jay. Runners back to second and first. That's Grichuk and Moss, and there's 2 outs.
Can't tell you how many times during the course of my career when I was struggling and I took a swing and maybe fouled the ball off and thought, oh, there it is. And just from a foul ball, it just all of a sudden everything comes back and clicks. You know, and you think you're working in BP and you think you're getting it down, and then you have another tough day and something just clicks inside of you in the middle of an at bat. So it's interesting to watch guys during their at bats to see if they make adjustments pitch by pitch, not just day to day.
Strike to Jed Jerko, 3-run homer back in the 8th.
Kind of like we were talking about with Wainwright yesterday. You know,
yeah.
Gives up that home run, ball's up in the zone, and all of a sudden it's like it's kind of a smack to the face. Like, oh, I'm not really working as hard as I should be, or I'm not putting the effort in to get the ball down. You can kind of get in cruise control, you know, and all of a sudden you saw him. The ball was down after that.
Thought steps in the right direction last night for Wainwright. Wasn't great, but better.
Long year. They used to say, come and talk to me in September.
Jerko with a base hit out to left field. They'll hold Moss, and the bases will be loaded for Aledmys Diaz, who will try to go for his 5th consecutive hit in this game. That's 15 hits for the Cardinals. Aledmys Diaz with 3 singles and a double. Team leading 7th double. Average has jumped up to 455.
I'd like to see him go 5 for 5.
I think he has opened up an awful lot of eyes with the way he has swung the bat. A lot of errors, but man, has he swung the bat well. Who was the last to go 5 for 5 for the Cardinals? Jason Hayward against the Mets, July 18th last year. 1 ball, 1 strike on Diaz. I just heard you say, like, not say, but you grunted. Ooh.
Just a good. He's just going after it. I like it.
Aggressive.
Young man, no big league experience. He's just looks good. I mean, I like the fact that he let it go. He got himself a fastball and he's swinging at it. I mean, he's not just Shortstop trying to push the ball around the around the field. He's taking some swings.
The next two, Diaz ripped out to left field. This ball is off the base of the wall. 2 runs will score. Aledmys Diaz 5 for 5 tonight. And it's another double. What else? 8 this year for the Cardinals shortstop.
Not even crack a smile. I love it.
No one saw this coming out of Aledmys Diaz. No one.
It's just really good swing, balance. Keep saying the word balance. It is so important to have your feet underneath you when you're swinging the bat. There's just no way to be a good hitter without having balance, and that is about as good a balance as you can have, especially on a breaking ball.
So 2 outs and 2 on, 11-2 St. Louis. Carpenter with a high fly ball out to center. That'll stay in the ballpark as Jay makes the catch. Aledmys Diaz 5 for 5 tonight. 16 hit attack. The Cardinals lead it 11-2. Pitch to Jeremy. High fly ball into deep right center field. Will it carry? It is gone! 3-run homer. That's how you bust out of that 0 for 17. And he did bust out. Jeremy Hazelbaker, our Budweiser player of the game, a 3-run pinch hit home run back in the 7th inning. The Cardinals now with 7 pinch hit home runs. And folks, it's only April 23rd. You know, and Jimmy, they talked about it. They said, look, we need to improve our bench. So they make the trade to get Jed Jerko. You looked at first base with Moss and Holiday and Adams. Somebody's going to sit. So there's another guy that you add to the punch of this bench. And, man, has it been good this year. Another story has been Aledmys Diaz. 5 for 5. Matt Bowman is your new pitcher. Here's Ramirez. So Aledmys Diaz 5 for 5. First Cardinals rookie with a 5-hit game since Wally Moon, May 12th, 1954. It's only happened 7 times in Cardinals team history. Incredible. Ramirez fights it off and a slow liner hit to Jerko for the first out.
Get another chance to see what do you get? Another good stat for you. 2 guys Rule 5 back-to-back innings. You don't see that very often.
And his importance with what he's doing out of the bullpen is starting to grow. He's getting a little tougher spots being used by Mike Matheny. We should point out that Mike felt that the second inning by Maness last night was as good as he's looked all year. Remember, he had 3 ground ball outs. They think they found something mechanically with Maness. Time will tell. Here's a ground ball and a base hit toward Jabari Blash. Seth Maness last night pitched in the 7th and then the 8th. The 8th was 2 ground balls to short and another one to second base. And we see the pitchers out there holding the baseball, working on grips. Jose Perella. Fly ball into center. Grichuk, late break. He was hit off the end of the bat. Makes the catch. 2 down. And the Padres are down to their final out.
You can tell where this game is when you look down in the bullpen and they're smiling. I have not met too many guys that have been in the bullpen over the years that have said that they're not uneasy during the course of the game when the game is close. This is a tense situation when you're down there and don't know who's coming when that phone rings. All those guys are a little unsettled.
Travis Jankowski, ground ball to third. This will do it. The Cardinals take game 2, 11-2. All their runs scored from the 6th inning and beyond.